It's going to be. All right. Welcome to the Gentleman's Journal, part of the Iron Sharpening Iron universe. And I got my man Walt Talks over here. I'm your man, Big Jack Story Time. And Walt, here's the question right now: are men financially drowning? You know, that's the thing. So tonight we're going to talk about something many men are experiencing, but few will admit it. Are they
Okay.
financially drowning? Not struggling, not stressed, but drowning. So what you got? What do you think on that?
That's a great question, man. I think, the tough economy, peer pressure. I mean, then you get into different age groups. I mean, I've been there. I guess you have too. We all have, but as you get older, you realize what's really important, what matters and what doesn't matter. And, you know, I mean, a lot of times people get into situations trying to impress people that don't even know them and they don't like. So it ought to be a good topic, man. Credit card debt is another one. Uh, I just looked at my Amazon expenditures this month or last month. Hey, man, I was a little out of control. It just makes it so easy because before
Right.
you got to get in your car, go shopping to do things, and now click a button and it's at your door. So this ought to be interesting, man. It ought to be interesting. Yeah.
All right. So with that being said, we got
Hmm.
superstar panel today. Of
Oh
course, we got
man.
you. But we got some returners that's gonna come in and we're gonna break it down because it's a subject where we're not subject matter experts. No time in here. We don't even play one on TV. We're
Right.
just here to put the real truth out there, get it out for everybody that's watching and viewing. And we thank you all for tuning in. And we're going to try to help some people today because we do have some people that wrote in and asking questions for this panel because when they saw what the topic is going to be. So hopefully we are able to answer some questions, but at the same time, looking forward to getting started. So let's get our panelists up on the stage, and we're going to have some fun here on the Gentleman's Journal. You ready?
I'm ready, man. Let me see who we have tonight.
Well, you see me. All right.
Oh
We
yeah.
got Frederick
Oh yeah.
Jackson and Keith Mercer up on the stage. What's up, gentlemen? How y'all doing?
Gentlemen.
Look, I got a
Yes,
little button.
sir.
Look, let me see. Let me try to use this button real quick. I just got some new toys, and I just want to see where's the applause. Let's see. There we go.
Oh my man.
All right. So anyway, so we got Keith Mercer and Frederick Jackson up on the stage, and again, gentlemen, we're talking about our men, and we're just talking men because it's the Gentleman's Journal. Are we financially drowning? And it's a I would say a touchy subject, but it is a subject where we're discussing because of the fact that I think there's a big misconception or sometimes a false sense of security because you have one thing you think it equals the other thing. So I had to do some research. I had to look up some things. So I got some little posters and bells and whistles and all that good stuff so that we can throw some things out there because I didn't know. And if not saying that I'm the smartest man in the room because I'm not even trying to act like one, but I definitely want to put this up there. So one of the things I looked at, and y'all help me as we put it out here, is I'll put it up on the screen. Okay, it says income versus wealth.
Mm.
It says what you earn versus what you own minus what you owe.
Hmm.
So income puts money in your pocket, wealth keeps money in your future. And so just breaking it down. So income is what you earn, your salary, overtime, side hustles, business incomes, bonuses, pensions, commissions, social security. And then it was saying wealth equals asset minus liabilities. Wealth is built, wealth is protected, wealth creates freedom. And then it says we count these as assets, which is real estate, cash, and savings, investments, business ownerships, and other valuable properties like some vehicles, boats, collectibles, equipment, and things like that. So it even broke it down. So as we're looking at this, and we don't have to go off of this, it's just one of those things where It was just the separation of income over what your wealth is. So, looking at this, Fred and Walton, I see Keith fell off, but we'll get him back up here. Looking at that and just even that statement itself, or that the poster that was designed, um, what do you think about what you saw? What do you think about that? That is that accurate? Is that about right? How does that work? Any one of y'all can go.
Fred?
Yes, Fred, Keith. Keith, did you see it? Did you see the poster?
I did not see the poster. I had to go out to come back in.
No,
So
no. Let me put it back up there for you then, real quick.
okay.
So it was just saying that the income is what you earn versus wealth is what you own minus what you owe. And it is giving you a little breakdown of it. So, your salary, your overtime, side hustles. Then it says wealth equals assets minus liabilities. And then what counts as assets, and they're looking at your real estate, cash and savings, investments, 401ks, IRAs, business ownerships, and then there's some valuable properties, boats, vehicles, other type of collectible equipment and things like that. So looking at the poster, so even at the bottom, it says, "Would you rather make $250,000 a year and be worth 20,000, or make $80,000 a year and be worth 600,000?" So that's just an idea, and is that possible? So
I really like that. I think that especially in different communities, we really need to start younger and teaching that because it makes sense. But again, when we're living paycheck to paycheck, it's hard to understand what wealth really is, right? Because we're really working for a salary until you get to that certain point where then you can start creating wealth and understanding what assets mean. But I think it's accurate.
wow. I
I
mean,
really do.
I'm Keith, me, we're about the same age. I know Walt's a little
Yeah.
older than me, and then Fred's a little older than Walt. so with no,
OG status, Fred. You got OG status, brother.
Yes,
OG
sir.
all the way, 100% OG. But with that being said, I remember when I was growing up, the big goal was to make six figures. That was like the thing. If you
Yes.
could get six figures, you was in that spot. But that's back to the salary. That's not saying that's your wealth. That's your salary. So were we just misled? Were we thinking wrong? What I mean, come on, Fred. What's going on with this?
Look, when I was coming through, the old guy, I remember if you made $5 an hour, that was
Yeah.
considered a good thing. But you got to ask yourself, how much could you buy with $5 an hour? So
Yeah.
you had to be careful about moving forward. You went slow and steady, not I'm gonna go out here and charge it all up and then pay it off. You just went slow and steady to get what you wanted to get, especially after you left your parents' house because you had nothing.
Mm,
So when
Absolutely.
you was at your parents' house, you was going to eat every day. Had lights every day. You had stuff. But once you went out there on your own, you no longer had stuff because you left that behind you. They didn't let you take it with you. So at $5 an hour, you just bought stuff as needed, trying to move forward.
mm. Wow. What's up, Walt?
So,
I see you.
so Biggie Smalls said, "More money, more problems." Right? The more you earn, the more you burn. Right?
Absolutely.
And the old guy told me when I joined the fire department back in the day, he said he used to dream of making the money he's starving on today. So
Mm,
the reality is, man, is no matter what generation you're from, if you spend more than you make, that's what it is. Dick Gregory had a joke saying he ain't poor, he's just broke. He's got something coming. So he's broke, he's not poor. But the reality, man, is with all the options that we have now to do, to
Yeah.
go, to travel, to buy, it's tough. And I think you guys may be the last generation. I know Fred, your generation toward mine and one of these guys, where you had to have money to to spend it. I mean, like a credit card wasn't like like you might have the Sears Roebuck card, you might have the whatever, but credit, man, in my generation when I was a kid, that wasn't a big thing that was really afforded that much to,
Yeah.
to my parents.
Mhm.
My daughter, she had to understand that we just can't go to the ATM. There has to be money in the account to go to the ATM. So you had a generation now, even in Monopoly, where you have digital spending in the Monopoly game. So those lessons that we learned as kids through the game of Monopoly, they don't get that. So right now it's spend, 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 and then by the time you guys were
Yeah.
in college, you get a credit card if you can't get nothing else, right? No job, no anything. They gave you credit. Am I wrong? Am I right or wrong?
No, that was one of the first things
You're
they
right.
offered you was a credit
Yeah.
card because
You're
they
right.
were looking when they were banking off of you actually getting an education, having
Getting
a
a hook.
career or something that you can pay this back. So we're going to help you
Absolutely.
and get you. So do we believe, or do you any of y'all believe that was maybe part of the problem because we're talking about
Oh,
financially
definitely part of the
drowning.
problem.
So
Definitely.
now that it's so easy, and it wasn't. I mean, I remember the renter centers, and how people was able to rent to own type things, and
Yes.
even though they couldn't afford it, they was it was easy to get it, and I would just keep making my payments and da 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 da. So I remember that. I remember riding with my father to repo somebody's stuff, and I know Walt know for sure.
Mhm.
I work with your father
Walking up
100%.
in the house, walking up in the house and taking somebody's TV because they ain't making their payments.
No
But
green,
that,
no screen. Yeah, I remember those
so
days.
without a credit card in your hand, you were still getting it on credit.
Yeah.
And I know that was going on even years and years that like the old Wimpy from Popeyes, I'll gladly
Pay
pay
on
you on
Tuesday.
Tuesday for a hamburger today. That's a concept. People was thinking like that I'll pay you later for something I'm getting now. And is that some of the downfall? Do we believe that because I'm looking that way over, like I say, I don't have it. Some people like say I'm
Yeah.
only gonna pay cash. I'm not, and now there's places that don't even let you just pay cash. That you have to
Absolutely.
finance it or whatever. And is that the game? Is that what we're doing with people? And we're gonna make you finance it and make it harder for
Yeah.
you? Wow. Okay.
Well, in my household, credit wasn't discussed much. So we didn't learn a lot of credit discussions at my house.
Absolutely.
The first job I had once I got out of college, though, was working for household finance. That's when I learned a lot about credit. And I said that was a very important job for me to have because I was seeing
Absolutely.
people in there getting garnished, their wages getting garnished and all that kind of stuff because they couldn't pay bills back. And I saw people who paid more for a loan than somebody else because your credit numbers wasn't high enough.
Yeah.
So that was probably one of the best things that happened to me was to go work at household finance to learn about what credit and having credit in the world was going to do for you.
I remember my father telling me credit was better than cash. He says
Yeah.
your credit score was better than you having cash because you can go borrow and use other people's money, right? I remember him telling me
Yeah.
that. I also, Jack, remember working with your father, the TV rental company, and 18-month rent to own, and they were paying close to $100 a month for a 19-inch television, like $79.99 a month for a 19-inch television. And I was the repo man, no green, no screen. I was the repo man, and I would literally tell people, look, I guess the statute of limitations is off. It's done. Go save your money for 3 months. Go get your TV from Circuit City. I'll be back to get the television. Because it was crazy. It's almost predatory.
Yeah.
And then when you think about on a bigger picture, when you think about Fred, of course, you think about redlining and all of those things, man. I mean, it plays into a bigger picture. And then if you have two kids who came up in two different neighborhoods, and one parents was talking to them about credit or had opportunity, and the other ones didn't because they were in survival mode, that can draw, that's a divide right there, man. So it's important that we understand the value of that. In my personal experience, my first piece of credit was K Jewelers. I'll never forget this.
Mhm.
Me and all my boys went up to Landover Mall, the K Jewelers, They bought their girlfriends. They bought their girlfriends gifts for Christmas, and I bought my mother a watch. And we all got credit. They used to put you on an old mimeograph machine and run your credit, right? We all got it. Of course, they broke up with the girls. They stopped paying. I still paid my mother's watch off, and I had credit. I had good credit, man. I just had. I came out the gate with good credit, and they came out the gate with bad credit. We laugh about that to this day, man.
Mhm.
So you gotta, you gotta pay. You gotta know the difference between, your APR, so you really know what you're paying for the money that you're getting. And in this day and time, there's no need to be embarrassed. There's no need not to know because you got access to everything. You got the information right at your hand
Absolutely.
that you can
Right.
find out. It's not even like you got to go take a class. You can go to YouTube University and figure it out.
Yeah,
So it's a struggle once you get bad habits. But I mean, we've all been there. I know I have. I know I
absolutely.
have.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. What other look? Finger Hut, Columbia Records.
Oh man, not the
Look,
records,
90
man. Not the
heck yeah. So
Sunday
they were
morning.
out. They were out to get you, bro. They was out,
Yeah, yeah,
and
Hmm.
it
yeah.
seemed so good. It was so so easy. I can get 99. Well, I get 20 records for a penny, and then
Oh man, I
then
remember that.
when the
Yeah.
deal comes, because we don't read the fine print, and we get
Right.
ourselves hemmed up,
Hey,
and it's like, wow, we got you,
hey,
and you
am I the
don't.
only one that gave money to a telethon and didn't realize they was coming for that money? They were coming for that money. You had
Oh
like the Jerry Lewis telethon back in the day,
yeah,
and you got the telethon. You're
I
like,
know.
oh man, that's a good idea. I'm gonna donate. I'm gonna pledge
Just make
some
that
money,
call, huh? Okay.
and I'm gonna make that call. Hey man, put me down for whatever it was. And my mother says, so how are you paying for this? I'm like, what do you mean? She says, you're pledging. You're making a pledge to pay this money. So how are you paying for it? You don't have a job. And it just never dawned on me, man. I was a young kid, but just
Hmm.
as you get older, and my old man, God bless him, hey buddy, my name is still in his what do you call that? The black and white book, hardbound uh composition book.
Composition, yeah.
And,
Hmm.
and every dollar he's had on the street, man, was in there, and I was in there on several occasions. And when he died, I went through all this stuff. And man, I just remember him, crossing my name out and making me initial. And one time he gave me the money back. The
Mm.
first time he
Wow.
gave me the money back after I paid it off. I'm good. So the next time I borrow money, I'm thinking, all right, well, I know I'm gonna get it back in the end. And he said, okay, man, I'll catch you later. And that was another lesson for me. And I'm glad I
Hmm.
learned those lessons early in life, man. Early in life. So yeah.
Yeah, that's what's up. So I mean, and it is. It's these lessons that we learned over the time, and that's again why we got us out here, because we do actually. It does get tough out there. It gets
Yeah.
hard,
Yes.
and when you are, and I think I heard one of you make the comment earlier, was like living paycheck to paycheck. So
Hmm.
with that
Yes.
being said, I want to drop another fact or figure up there. And for all those who are watching, we thank you for tuning in to the Gentleman's Journal. We're here discussing our men financially drowning, and it's not just a man thing. We just got men up here, and that's why we're talking. It's not just a man thing, but
Yeah.
drowning is drowning, and financially, some of
Hmm.
the moves and the decisions we've made has caused us to sometimes have it real hard out there. So here's the check this one out. This is another one that dropped up. Let's see, put up on stage. Boom, there it is. Our men financially drowning. I say living paycheck to paycheck. So it says 57%, 57 to 67% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. Even many households earning over $100,000 have little left after monthly expenses. So does that sound right? Is that about right? $100,000 a year is what you're making, and once you pay everything, uh, it's
Too
not that.
much, too
Yeah,
much month at the end of the money.
yeah.
Yeah.
They working hard, still barely holding on. Is that reality?
Well,
Sure.
you may say you making $100,000, but you ain't
Yeah.
bringing $100,000 to your door.
Hmm.
Out of that 100,000, you're paying state tax, federal tax,
Absolutely.
Social Security, medical. In some places, you got
Insurance.
uniforms. It's you're not grossing 100,000, so you got to see what
Absolutely.
your net's going to be, and then you. But if you think that you're making 100,000, you go out living like you bringing home 100,000. That's going to get you in a jam.
Absolutely. And I think that's a great point, Fred, that you said, because you know, as men, we're taught to work hard. That's what we're taught from birth. Let's work hard. We know the work side, but we haven't been taught how to invest, how to budgeting. And all you thinking is salary, not wealth. Hey man, I'm making this, but you're not bringing that home. You know what I mean? So then you have all of these ideas where I'm gonna pay this, this, and this, but not realizing, well, hold up, you don't even get that because that's pulled out even off the break, right?
Mm.
So we don't think about long term down the road. I think the statistic is a little low myself because especially right now, and I think a lot of it just depends on your financial background, right? We don't know what we don't know. You know what I mean? That's why when you look at tax season, people are really upset during tax time. Well, you upset because you didn't understand the whole financial portfolio. So I think we definitely see people that live paycheck to paycheck, especially growing up where we're from, right? Where we are in survival mode. Well, finances is part of that picture, right? And then once we do get a little bit of money, then you wonder why we can't keep it. Well, because we didn't have the education that came with it, right?
Mm.
And that's a great point, Fred. Great point.
But now let's think about this though. Now, when I go in there to buy my house or buy my car, they don't tell me and worry about my net. They tell me what I grossed,
Yep.
and that's how they tell me what I'm able to get. You can get this.
Your debt to income ratio comes in there.
Okay. All right.
Setup. That's the setup.
Your debt to income ratio. That's why they do it. And then it really got crazy in around 2007, 2008. That's how the whole mortgage thing collapsed because,
Yeah.
and I was doing mortgages at that time, and there were people who could afford the house, but there's a difference in buying a $200,000 house and buying an $800,000 house and the upkeep on that. Because you might be able to park your old '85 Honda Accord in front of the $200,000 house, but when you get the $800,000 house, you gonna go and you need a bigger car, you need this, that, and the third, the
Mhm.
SUV because you putting on whatever. And here's the deal, man. The people who went to jail from that, the people who got bailed out, too big to fail, they got bailed out. But the people who went to jail for that were the people who were writing that paper, who were dealing directly with the person. And a lot of it, I mean, a lot of it was just sad, man. And again, oh, don't worry about it. Or they were inflating the value of homes, which was
Yes.
another situation. Now you're not going to move, so you know, Fred got
Yeah.
his kitchen done. His house is worth 10,000 more than mine. Keith, you got your kitchen in the driveway. So your house is 20,000 more than Fred's, with 10,000 more than Fred's and 20,000 more than mine, and Jack, yada yada yada. The next thing you know, the bubble bursts, and then you upside down underwater on your house, man.
Yes.
And it was a sad thing, and a lot of people lost a lot during that time, lost a lot of wealth, a lot of value, and then because of the way the market is set up, back to a form of redlining, the same house, same builder in certain neighborhoods was worth more money. Certain counties was
Absolutely.
worth more money. So it's a game, man. And if you really, really, really pay attention to it, it's a game. It's a game, and you gotta be on your game. You gotta know what's happening, and it's hard when you, like you said, Keith, when you're in survival mode. It's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough,
Yeah.
and we all have been there. We all have watched our parents, grandparents go through it. But you ever notice,
Absolutely.
man, our grandparents always had money, And think about it this way: if you don't have a pension, if you don't have a 401k that's doing well, if you don't have something set away for retirement, and you're making linear income, eventually the day is going to come where certainly if you are making a pension, your salary is going to be reduced. And if you don't have a pension, you got a 401k, you stop working, your money stops coming in. So like you said, Keith, long term, man, you got to think about that. And Jack, you just had who was that on the show 2 weeks ago talking about that.
Well, Monique got
Monique,
the yeah.
Monique Etheridge. Yeah, she made it plain, man, and she put it where the goats can get it. And you make sure you drop her book again, man, because that's a great book that she wrote. And I think people need to see that. And again, with all this technology, all this information, at this point, is just being able to adjust our mentality. Like a
Right.
lottery winner, right?
Absolutely.
Lottery winners go broke all the time, right?
Absolutely.
Entertainers go broke all the time. And then you got $10 million. 5 of that is out the door right off the bat. You got to pay your agents. Here comes your family. You buying 3 or 4 people's houses. And next thing you know, man, you spending that money and you broke. I would like to have that problem. I'd like to try to figure that out, but but it happens every day. It happens every day.
Well, we did actually pull these facts and figures, and these are real facts, real figures from
Real numbers.
but they're real numbers. But like you say, it could be lower, it could be high. Look,
Mhm.
that's saying they're living from paycheck to paycheck, so it could be some numbers of people not making it from paycheck to paycheck because that means they have to go and borrow just to get through. The paycheck's not covering me to the next paycheck, so that's a whole nother level of people. We have places out there now, title loan places and this and that,
Yeah.
and that means I'm not making enough to get through the next paycheck. And that's sad in itself,
Yeah.
in reality. But we did talk about another one I'm gonna put up on the screen, and then we got a couple of questions that came in. I want to pop them up too. But there's this one. All right, credit card debt is exploding. It says America is carrying more credit card debt than ever before. 1.25 trillion in credit card debt,
Oof.
record high. Say the average is $6,700 the average credit card balance per person, and then when you break it down by age group, and my age group is 7,450, and then it goes up and down, but you can see where it's saying. So, looking at that, is that about right?
That's about right.
That's about right? That's a little high, a little low.
Bro, that's just one furnace, one broken car,
Absolutely.
air condition goes out. That's it. I mean, that's not even, and then let's not even talk about, for instance, my car just got compromised, right? Day before yesterday, we got another card coming. You don't realize how many subscriptions you have until you change. You got to go back and start changing and adding your credit card because everything is auto pay, right? I do my whole life is auto pay. You got Rocket Money, you have all these apps, but when you pay attention to how much money you really spend on incidentals, and hey, Jack, and we ain't gonna talk about golf and all that good stuff, man. We ain't gonna talk about greens fees and all that good stuff, man. But if you think about it, man, until you know every dime that you spend, especially on the credit card game, and how much interest you're really paying, it'll blow your mind. It'll blow your mind, whether you can afford it or not. Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's we see credit card stuff coming in daily. But what we have to educate ourselves on, well, what's the interest on that credit card? Right? I mean, they'll give you the money, but it's at a point to where they know you can't pay that back during that time. So it's actually the interest payment. And we think, oh, okay, well, we lowering that payment and we'll get rid of that, but not realizing that, man, you're just paying interest. You haven't even started paying
Talking about the principal. Yeah.
on the principal yet. So I mean, listen, I think that's an accurate illustration because again, it's easy to get a credit card. It really
Yeah.
is. But you make a good point, Walt. What happens if something does happen, and what about that time frame that because you can't keep paying on stuff if you don't have your card? Remember, they freeze that. Then what? Okay, what happens as we get older? That's another bill that we didn't even expect, right? When life happens, like you said, furnace go out, refrigerator go out, washer dryer go out. I mean, if you have those luxuries, right? That's something that need to be accounted for too. But if you don't have that conversation and you don't know, then that's that trap that we get stuck in. That's kind of like that mice on that wheel, right? We get caught up. Okay, no, I'm doing okay. Well, actually, you're not because now your interest rate is really sky high. And listen, these people coming for stuff.
But
They're not waiting.
you know who gives you the biggest discipline as far as credit companies? The American Express card, because they want their money in 30 days.
Yeah.
And that
Wow.
will really discipline you on your
But
spending.
it's not
Trust
like
me.
that anymore. They have you can get them. You
It,
can get
it,
American Express.
Depends on which one you got.
which
Yeah,
one you
yeah,
get? Yeah, but 85, I'll never forget it. I'm like, oh, you know, I joined the fire department. 85, I get the American Express card. Man, I hit the number. You know, and I remember my cousin's husband. He bought the Mazda RX-7. Is that the little sports
Seven.
car they used to have?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
I remember he bought a Mazda RX. I thought this was the coolest thing in the world, and he just bought it on his American Express card
Oh, ooh.
until his financing came through with his bank, his credit union, whatever, right? But he walked out.
Yeah.
He put his American Express card down and walked out the door with it, and rolled out the door with the car. And he told me, "Yeah, man." I said, "Man, what I did?" He said, "Man, I just put down American Express and I'll go see my credit union Monday." And I'm like, "Wow." He said, "But yeah, good credit the whole 9 yards, you know." But I'm like, "Damn, American Express, man. I guess as long as you paying them, they didn't have anything to say."
No,
And like you say now, and I guess they have different types of cards. I don't even have
Yeah.
American Express card anymore.
The other thing you got to be careful about, a little tricky thing they're doing now. A lot of places are cashless, so you got to
Yes.
have a credit card.
Gotta have a credit card.
So now you in there buying a soda, but and gonna pay interest on it if you don't pay the balance when
Yes.
that bill comes out.
Yes.
Yeah.
I took my car to the shop the other day. I was pretty impressed with the fact that well, if you use credit, they send the fee to you. I mean, they charge you the fee that they had paid for a credit card.
Mm.
So if you give them an ATM, I mean, if you give them your debit card, there's no fees. But the 3% or whatever, I think it's 3% that they pay the credit card company, they pass that on to the customer right at the counter, and they let you know. So it'll be 3% more if you use a credit card. But what that does for them is that gives them cash, right? So they don't have to, and they don't pay those, and it's cutting their fees. Everybody's cutting back, man. And the sad part is, it is a country. You look at the national debt. We are teaching a whole nother generation to spend money that we don't have.
Yeah.
If you think of it. And that's a whole other conversation.
You see that sometimes at the gas pump. You go to the gas pump, if you're using
cash or credit.
Cash, it's cheaper than if you're using credit and this and that, because somebody's going to pay that fee, and it's either going to be
That's right.
We're going to charge you more, and so you can just really cover the fee that it costs because you're using the plastic. So we talked about the credit card, and that was the number we said, and I'm not even going to say how many cards that you have. So they're saying that you got $6,000, but if you got 5 cards and they all got $6,000, then that just turned that $6,000 into $30,000. So that number can go up based off of because I can take this card and pay off this card, and that's the game that a lot of people played in the as we use the term robbing Peter to pay Paul. So you're gonna rob Peter, and I'm gonna pay Paul, and then hopefully I'm gonna catch up. And again, like you say, you're just one furnace, one medical situation or something away from being really, really hemmed up. And I know when we was on here last month, we talked about debt, and we talked about insurance is what we really was focusing on, the different insurances and all. But that it put in mind that it's so much we need to talk about when we say the finances, and are we drowning and are we underwater? And sometimes it's not because you're not working hard. So it's not bashing anybody. It's not that you're not a hard worker. It's not. It's just the system that you're in can put you in a situation that is like like you say, you bought a home. Okay, the house is $350,000. Okay, and you got a 30-year mortgage, and they said that's a good investment, 100%. But you still owe $350,000. 100% owe $350,000. Yeah, it might be good debt, but you owe $350,000. And then you start thinking about the taxes on the home, the insurance on the home, wear and tear on the home. If you want any furniture in your house, and I know Fred said this when he was behind the stage, and he might want to mention now, but he talked about he didn't have cable. That's a luxury. That was no.
Oh yeah,
that was a luxury. So you didn't get cable. What do you mean?
Yeah.
So those are the pluses that your house got all this extra stuff in it, and it's like, yeah, and how much does that cost? The internet and this, all of these things that you get
Yeah.
just because that's your house.
That's
But
right.
like you just said, well, when you look at the subscriptions that you got, a lot of
Yeah.
my subscriptions is just TV.
Entertainment,
yeah.
Just the
entertainment, right?
cable, like
Entertainment,
this,
right?
or that, or that,
Right.
because
Yeah.
now they can't even watch like you say, you're going to need 3 different packages to watch an NFL football game.
Right,
Because
depending
Yeah.
on right.
3 different. So if you don't have this or have that, you're not going to be able to see all the games. Because you're going to have the different
Mhm.
package.
But
So
you notice how we are
Right.
conditioned now. When that first happened, they put a game on another network. We lost our minds, and then now we are conditioned. Got a question for you guys, and this is the question that kind of changed my outlook, man, years ago. Have you ever heard, ever been asked the question? Would you rather have $1 million,
Mhm.
or I'll give you a penny and double its value every day for 30 days? Which would you rather have? And
Only
it's deal
30 days?
only 30.
only 30 days. I've heard it before, so I'm going to leave this one
Yeah.
alone.
You know what? It depends on, honestly, it depends on where I'm at in that moment financially.
All right, here we go.
If you know what I mean, it depends on where I'm at in that moment financially. Now,
So here
I'm
we
a
go.
math guy, so I know
Here,
the answer.
so here we go. I hear you. Most people instinctively choose the $1 million because the penny sounds insignificant. However,
Mhm.
due to the power of exponential growth, the doubling penny is actually worth over 5.3 by day 30. By 31, it doubles that. Again, it's like 10.6 and some change.
Yeah.
So, but when you think about that, when you put that in terms of, Fred, we'll go back to you. I think we had a conversation last month on maybe retirement or something, and we were just talking about how a guy coming into your company puts this amount of money away monthly. By the time he retires, through compounding interest and exponential growth, he got a lot of money,
Yeah. Mhm.
but it's hard to see the long term. And
Yeah.
if you just think about, man, like now you can use Robinhood. You're not sponsoring anybody, of course. Nobody sponsors this show, but there's stuff you can use to invest your own money. Do some things on a small level where you can buy percentages of a share.
Yeah.
And but when you talk to your kids, if you have that conversation with them, it's like you can get your kid with, till they learn about money. Look, I'll give you all these shiny things for that dirty dollar right there. And the kid is gonna go for the shiny object, right? I mean, it's almost like a joke until you explain. I used to give my grandkids all the time. Till you explain to them what it's worth and how it works, and then they're like, oh no, pop, oh no, so it's just education, man. You gotta make it fun. I learned
Yep.
about money through Monopoly game. Think about Monopoly, man. When your kids used to play Monopoly as a family, you learned how to count. The kid was always the youngest kid, or the kids were always the banker, right? And they were having to you make them count the change. You take a kid, you go to the store now, man, and make somebody, you give them the odd money so you can get even change, and man, they'll lose their minds
Yeah.
because we
You're
don't learn that
talking
anymore.
about the people behind the counter.
Behind the counter, yeah. So my
Yeah.
point is, man, you got a whole generation, and it's our faults because we aren't teaching them, and the school isn't teaching them. Did you know how to write a check in high school? Or I didn't know how to write a check till I learned how to write a check in 6th grade just because Mr. Briscoe, I'll never forget him, taught us how to write a check. But you never took a class in how to write a check, how to balance a checkbook. Think
Now,
about
I could write the check. I just didn't understand that it had to have money in the account.
it. Money in the
Cover the check. You're like,
But
what's this other book is for? What do you
Would
mean?
you tear it off and say, look, man, hold on to this till Tuesday, but don't wait till Friday. I need you to get it as quick as possible. Wow, man.
100% right there. 100%.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right, so we got a question, and gentlemen, so thank you for all of your insight on this, and I just want to see, it just came up, so let's see, boom, there it is. They say I'm 45 years old, living paycheck to paycheck, And is it too late for me to build wealth, or
Mhm.
can I still turn things around? Is it too late, or can I still? And Walt, I think you just hit on that. So
Yeah.
asking, is it too late, or can I turn it around? Can we turn it
Stop.
around?
What do you say? Stop the bleeding. That's what Monique said, right?
Yeah.
Stop the bleeding. Kill your
Yeah.
debt.
I tell you what, I'm gonna say this to all the viewers out there, listeners in the world. Listen, it's never too late. So let's get that out of our vocabulary. It's never too late. What I would advise you to do is get educated. Get yourself a financial planner or find someone that can educate you. It's never too late. It's never too late. Tomorrow's the best time to start,
Mm.
right? If not today, because it's Sunday. So tomorrow's the best time to start. It's never too late. We have to kind of get rid of that kind of mindset. Let's think positive, and someone will start tomorrow. What's the old saying? It's a millionaire created every day. So
Yeah.
it's never too late to start. The
Mm.
hardest part though is starting. But every day after you take that step is a good day. So it's never too late. You can do it. Get some advice on a professional in that field, not John on the corner or Timmy at work. Get a professional that can help you.
But now, Keith, I'm paycheck to paycheck, bro. I can't
YouTube
afford somebody
University.
else.
I get it. Well, guess what? Well, listen, I'll give you something else. You 100% at getting through all the things that you've gotten through.
That's right.
You 100% at getting to paycheck to paycheck. Paycheck to paycheck, hey, that's a start right there. Now figure out, and it's gonna be small steps, but it takes discipline, and you will be able to have that your own ownership.
Yep.
Absolutely.
So
Start today.
have you ever done the math on like something? And they always, start with a cup of Starbucks coffee. No offense to my Starbucks drink. I drink Starbucks coffee, but I make it at home. You spend what, $7 a day on a latte or whatever your drink of the day is. If you do the math on that, I mean, if you think about how much you spend on lunch, and we're not even gonna talk about gas now because gas is higher than the
Yeah.
giraffes behind. We know that. But just the stuff that we spend day to day, lottery tickets, Powerball tickets. You ever just bought Powerball tickets or lottery tickets and thrown them in a drawer? Hey man, and open up that drawer and look at all the tickets in there. It'll scare you to death, man. How much money you've wasted. The casinos, the
Yeah.
casinos. Think about it, man. Casinos do not keep their lights on, and the lottery board does not keep their lights on by people winning. But yet we gamble all of the time. We always do. I mean, so and then that's what the debate with the online gambling thing was. But you think about it, man, church has been running bingo and Firehouse has been running casino nights for years, right?
Right.
So, it comes down to the greatest form of discipline and self-discipline, but it's also easier said than done. But if you just think, I don't care what your situation is in life, if you got, I mean, your cell phone bill, when's the last time you just renegotiated your cell phone bill? My buddies mess with me now because they say, man, why don't you get rid of that cheap cell phone? Yeah, okay. But I just changed. I mean, look, I negotiate every year. I negotiate all my
Mhm.
stuff, my alarm, my cell phones, my stuff. And this is the part I hate. Oh, sir, we can, we can save you X amount of dollars. So now that I've
Mhm.
told you you've been abusing me for the last year, now you want to save me some money, but you could have just offered me that. I'll take my business elsewhere. I mean, you have some power because there's competition for your dollar.
That's it.
So use
Bless you.
that. Yeah, bless you, man. So use that to your favor, man. And it starts with before you go to the financial advisor. If you do have a financial person, they're gonna all tell you the same thing. First, you need to know what your expenses are. Back to your original question, Jack. What is your net worth? What do you earn?
Mhm.
What do you spend? What are you worth?
Mm.
And then you start cutting your expenses. And I'm telling you, it's simple. It's as simple as that. But I promise you, and I'm telling you this from firsthand experience, it is not easy
Yeah.
because we have become accustomed to certain things. The fact that I want to turn my TV on, man, I want to look at I was just getting ready to get rid of one of the streaming companies. And then, I just was reminded by a commercial that a series that I had been watching is coming back on. Oh, I can't cut it now because I got to watch this. Think about it. I got to watch the series. It's just $9, man, or whatever it is. You know,
Yeah.
oh man, I got.
That,
You know, I mean, we all been there. We all
no,
been there.
that happened today, Walt. I'm a WWE fan, so I like WWE.
I'm not gonna
but
hold
as
that
old
against you,
school as
man. I'm not gonna hold
WWE
that
has-
against you, man.
Don't hold it against me, but I like it. But I don't like it enough to buy ESPN to watch it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
you gotta
That
have
comes with
something for
100
ESPN.
channels.
So now
The
it's
one
like,
to one.
yeah. So it's like you gotta have ESPN now. You can't have regular ESPN. You gotta have
Gotta have ESPN Plus.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
come with Disney and this and that, and I'm like,
And they know that. It's by design. They
Right.
know that, man.
You're not going to get me. I don't like it that much, but that comes with age. Another thing I wanted to mention to y'all, because you both said it, financial advisor is huge. But if you do have a job in your paycheck to paycheck and it has a 401k plan, most of those plans come with a financial advisor that's already built in. So then you just reach out to the people that you're already invested in, if you have that, and that way you can use it. And at least I know maybe once a year they will go over your numbers with you and let you know what you got. No different than your credit record or your credit score. You can get a free copy of your credit report once a year without hurting your credit or anything by seeking it out. So that's just things to know and to talk about. We got one more question. We got two more, but we're gonna drop this out here and see what. Yes, sir, Fred.
I wanted to follow up on Walt just a second there. He said it's hard to do, and it is. So one of the things, if you decide to start doing that, you got to put the money somewhere where you can't just walk up and get to it. So if you put it in a savings account at a different bank that you got to go out of your way to go get that money, you might not go get it. So if you have a direct deposit, say $25 a paycheck, and you get paid twice a month, that's $600 a year that you put in an account that you never even saw the money or had easy access to the money. So those are some of the things you got to keep in the back of your head when you're trying to change the pattern of what you're doing.
Because life is going to always happen, right, Fred? It's always something always going to happen. Life is always going to happen, man. Life be lifing, man.
I do know of a person who said they had credit cards and it was okay. There's nothing wrong with having credit cards. That's not a bad thing. But they said that they had them in a safe, a locked box, and the key, they froze the key.
Froze the key.
And put it in the freezer.
Yeah.
He said while the ice had to defrost, while I had to melt, he had time
you had to crack it. Yeah, you had to think, man.
Do I really need what I was going to use this card for? So whatever the game was, whatever you have to do with your own mind to make it work, you gotta do what you got to do.
All right, so let's do this, man. Let's play this game with each other, man. And I've been doing this for the last week when it rained. Go through your closet and see how much stuff you have that you haven't even touched in a year or two, whether it's out of style. I don't buy a lot of trendy stuff anyway. But if it's out of style, it doesn't fit or whatever, you know. And I mean, I'm not talking about your suits that you can still fit, you know, from a small leg to a wider leg to a cuff. That's one thing if it's a quality thing. But I mean, just think about how much stuff we get. I mean, you know, hey Jack, how many? Don't say this publicly, man, but just think about it. How many sets of golf clubs do you have? I went to my thing, man. I just got a golf bag in the tournament the other day. I put it in there with the other 5 that are the same color. And I'm like, man, this is ridiculous, man. You know, this is ridiculous, but it has another pocket here, another pocket there. I gave my neighbor one. I'll donate some to the First Tee program. You know, just little stuff like that, man. How much stuff we just spend money on, man. And then we're all guilty of it, man. And because we deserve it. We just deserve it, man. I mean, I deserve a cup of coffee every day from Starbucks. I work hard
as well. I work hard. Why
I work hard, man. Why shouldn't I? Yeah.
Why shouldn't I? And that we're going to talk about that because that's one of the things we're going to definitely touch on. So I got a question for you. In the United States, and we're looking at African Americans, Hispanics, Caucasians, and Asians. Who's number 1 in the wealth and who's last in wealth? Let's put them in order. What do you think? African Americans, Hispanics, Caucasians, and Asians. Who's number 1? And rank them 1, 2, 3, and 4. What do you think? And if you're out there, put it in the comments what you think. Who's number 1, 2, 3, and 4, going from the most wealthiest to the least wealthiest.
So we're not talking about money that goes through the community. We're talking about net worth.
Net worth. Net
Okay.
worth. Yeah, sorry, thank you. Yeah, they're
And
net
what was
worth.
the 5 ethnic groups again?
Four. Asian,
4.
Caucasian, Hispanic, and African American. So that's Franklin. What do you think is number one? Being the most wealthiest down to the least wealthiest. And we're talking net worth. Not about how much you make and I got a $250,000 salary, blah, blah, blah. Your net worth. Where's your wealth? What's your wealth? Net wealth.
I'm gonna go
We're
Asian
talking,
first.
we're talking American, right? We're talking
Yes, this
United
is the United
States.
States.
Okay.
In the United States.
Okay.
And Walt said Asian first. Okay.
I'm
Yep.
gonna go with him.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm Asian first.
Asian, then what's next? Then
Caucasian,
Caucasians. And then what's that?
African American,
African Americans. Then what's that?
Hispanics.
And Hispanics.
Hispanic.
Everybody agree?
I'm gonna flip 3 and 4.
Flipping 3 and 4.
Yes,
Oh,
sir.
wow.
Okay.
And again, none of y'all have seen this, so it's not about
Okay.
sharing up front. So it's that.
What I tell you.
Yeah.
Truth hurts, man. That's what it is, Jack.
That's from the 2022, so that's 2022.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And again, we're looking at net worth. It's not about their wealth, so it's what you have versus what you still owe and what's left. So there you go.
You ever man, I just remember my aunt telling me when I was a kid, she said, you don't want to be a person. It's my first summer job too. She said, you don't, and I was going to buy something stupid. I've never had a pair well, I hate to say this as a grown. Well, I'm gonna say this. I've never had a pair of Jordans because once I could afford to buy them, I didn't want to spend no money on them,
Mhm.
But I never forget my aunt telling me, you don't want to be a person who buys what you want and begs for what you need.
Mm.
And man, when she said that, and she put other couple words with it, and it just kind of just blew my mind, bro. It blew my mind. I'm like, wow. Because if you think about it, what she was saying is we always get what we want, right? We always get we find a way to make it happen,
Right.
to get what we want, And she said, so you just got to make sure you got your priorities straight. And of course, as I got older, I used to wonder, man, how did my parents even make it, man? How did, because when you get, you think you're getting this job and you making money and you doing your thing, and everybody wants their piece, and it's like, man, how in the world? And you talking about, like you said, insurance in a car, yada yada yada, and then you got more money, more problems. You got to keep it up. The more stuff you have, the more stuff you're responsible for. So if you can't insure it, maintain it, you can't afford it.
And remember, the newest thing is to secure it. Remember, you buy that big house, you need a security system,
bro.
Yeah. So much. Look, we was talking about, and I know we're definitely hitting on a lot of points, and I thank you for being on the panel with me. I remember when I played Little League sports.
Mm-hmm. Oh man!
And it would cost my mom probably $25 for me to play, and that was $25 for me to play. When I got to high school, it didn't cost nothing. All I do is this and that, and I've paid, I'm gonna say me and my wife, so my wife and myself. So we've paid just in this season alone, because our son is a freshman in high school. I know we've already crossed the $1,000 mark, and that's just for him to play 3 different sports in high school. I'm like, what are we paying for high school stuff for? I mean, but and that's not including people that's in these travel leagues, in these elite sports and this and that. It is crazy to see what it costs just for you to and some of these, they're going like AAU. These trips are huge.
Hotels, the whole 9 yards, man.
You got it, because that's not in the cost of the team.
And again,
hotels, food, the time away from where you could be creating income. Absolutely.
So, again, but that's an expense that we don't think. And it's like,
Yeah.
well, I'm drowning. I'm already paycheck to paycheck, and I got a kid who wants to do something, and you don't want to say no to your kid. So
Absolutely.
you find yourself now flying or driving, hotels, rental this or the nats, and
Food,
because food, you still
meals,
got to
yeah,
eat. The
Mhm.
yeah.
uniforms, the warm up
Mhm.
suits, the tournament costs, and all of this
Mhm.
stuff, and that's just for one kid in one sport, and you might have 3 kids in 3 different
Yeah.
sports all over the place. And that was just I'm only talking sports because that's what I remember my time, but
Mm.
I
Yeah.
know there's people going through that right now. So this is what the next question I want to throw up there because unless y'all got something to join in. But like I say, here we go. Boom. They say, I'm the one everyone in my family comes to when they need help. How
Mm.
do I help others without putting myself in financial trouble? What's the answer for that person? Please, somebody help me.
I'm gonna say one word that is a complete sentence,
No.
and that word is no.
No.
Sometimes you gotta save people from themselves,
Mm,
right? And it's very, very hard to do. But if you think about it, I can't think of the financial magazine I was just reading, and the guy said, what hurt him was family because they had access, and the guilt of not, helping out. And believe it or not, the person that he was helping out, they kind of bankrupt him, was actually living better than he was living
Right.
over a period of time,
mm.
right? But it was this easy access. It's especially family. It's hard to say no, but sometimes you got to save people from themselves. You
So,
know what I mean?
are you really helping a person, family, friend, kid, adult, whatever? Uh, you basically are enabling them, right?
Right.
But my wake up call was I had a buddy tell me, and I'm working 2 jobs, and I used to work overtime. And I said, man, they got a lot of overtime. Why don't you jump on some of that overtime, man? I don't mess with overtime. And I'm like, I mean, like, so you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
again, man, if you have a child, an adult, a young adult, a teenage child, right? Think about this, and you go buy them a car, and you sustain that car and that lifestyle, and they spend their money on what they want to spend their money on. Back to what my aunt said, right? Buy what you need, what you want versus what you need. You have become that person's lifestyle, so you will never get your kid out the basement if you're paying that $500 car note for that child because they can't afford that. You have set them up to fail, which you think you're helping them. You've set them up to fail. Am I right? Am I missing something here?
I'm not gonna say you missed anything. I'm gonna pop this up here because it was a comment that just came in, and see what y'all got on this, and we're close to time on this.
Okay.
It says asking for money and asking for help are totally different.
It's the fishing
It's
thing. It's teach them how
Absolutely.
to
Yeah,
fish, yada yada yada.
yeah.
Right.
You know,
Right.
Absolutely.
if you got somebody that comes to you once in a blue moon because something that happened and they need your assistance and you help them, that's okay. But if you got somebody that comes to you on January, pays you back in February, come back to you in March, pay you back in April, now you're enabling people.
Well, what about the person? Hey man, I would like to drive a fancy sports car. I know I can't afford it. I would like to do. So what about that person? How do you deal with that person? Because I think this person is saying they're better off because when this person is in trouble, nobody's coming to save him.
Yeah.
Nobody that he's helping is going to be able to help him.
Now the big thing is, all right, if you came to me, Walt, and said,
Mhm.
hey, Jack, you got $500.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, Walt, I don't have $500, but I can give you 100. Well, I don't need 100, I need 5. Then you don't need it. Because
So
whatever I
Absolutely.
can do to
well,
help you,
that's
it's for my
a
help.
great point too. But
That's
here's
a
the thing.
great point.
But here's the thing: when it comes to money, and this is just me, my own, just out of lessons. Hey man, I would rather give you the 100 than expect you to pay me back the 5.
No, 100%. That's
But
biblical.
also,
That's biblical.
So,
most people that I know who, if I go to somebody it's been a while, thank God, knock on wood, or if somebody comes to me, I would give them the benefit of the doubt we know each other well enough that you to come to me and ask me for money. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt that you know how I am and where I stand. This is not a surprise where I stand on this, right?
yeah.
So I'm going to take them serious because I know you had to go through the whole thing. Hey, Jack, I'm going to use you as an example. No way you going to Frederick Jackson and asking if you go to Frederick Jackson for money, he knows you known him long enough. You better thought this thing out. You better have a plan in place.
Yeah.
And he gonna cut your finger and make you sign in blood. You know what I mean?
You ain't supposed to say that out loud.
But that's basically what it is. I mean, you guys respect each other enough to know
Yeah.
that if he's coming to you, he must really need it, and he knows that he
Absolutely.
cannot
Well-
mess up his name with you, bro.
Well, I can remember the last time I came to him for money. 1991. 1991.
Okay.
He probably don't even remember that. 1991. He looking at his binder right now.
In his
Looking at
composition
binder
book.
right now. But
Oh man.
it had to be August of 1991.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
What was the speech
I
like?
remember because again, there's
Wow.
certain people you just didn't go to.
Those,
It's-
man.
If you had to go to them, I was in the jam, and I know, like I told, even when my mom helped me, when I first went through my divorce and had to
Mhm.
start
Oh
all
yeah,
over.
we all life, man.
My whole thing is I had to start over, and she helped me.
Absolutely.
But the one person I knew, if I didn't pay anybody else back, looking at the
That's what Hey man, I'm breaking out the cold. Hey Fred, I'm breaking out the cold sweat just looking at that thing, man. But let me ask you this, man. Let me ask you guys this. Think about it this way, man. I'm like, this is the part that irritates me. You ask me what I think about you doing whatever. Hey man, I don't think that's a smart move. Because you got insurance, especially a car, you got insurance with whatever, yada 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 yada. Your credit's this, you're gonna pay that, blah 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 blah. You haven't done your homework, then the person goes against all of your advice, goes and does it. And then they come to you to save them. Hey man, how about coming to me before you spend 25% interest on this 10-year-old car? You know, that's the part that irritates me because you basically just told me, you just showed me you're behind when you asked me what I thought. Okay, so that's what you think. I mean, and the only reason, here's the thing. If I didn't think it affected me, like if it's somebody that's not close to me, that's not even my business. But if somebody close to me, I'm gonna give it to them because I know eventually if things go wrong, I'm on the hook. Whether you ask me or not, I know I'm responsible. I'm partly responsible because I'm not gonna just watch you drown. And people will do that to you and they can get away with it once or twice. But after that, man, you gotta be like, I can't do this no more, man. I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
Because I don't even I do what I'm just saying me, like the person. Think about how much that person does without so they can make sure that they have what they need. And then you got another person coming to you and just grabbing everything they want. And then and that person there, like, it's not going to be a healthy relationship. It's not going to work.
That person on the same vacation trip you on, knowing they owe you.
Oh man, on Instagram, knowing they owe you. Yeah.
Wait
Yeah,
a
I'm
minute.
like,
How in the world are you here? How are you here when you owe
Yeah.
me? No,
But
but with this, while we ran out of time, man.
Okay.
So I just want to drop this one more slide up real quick, and we're going to end the show on this because the first question was, I'm 45 years old. Is it too late to get started and this and that? And we said no. You can start now and get started.
Mhm.
So this is a time frame. And these are all true facts and everything. So we didn't fluff anything for the show, but just to put it up there, it says wealth built over time, and it is saying that as you get older, we get a little bit wiser. We get smarter with our business. We handle our business a little bit different, and you can see how your numbers go up. So in our age bracket, 55 to 64, say 365,000 is a net worth for a person. It gets even better at 65 to 74. And then at 75, it's starting to decline back down, but so is everything else in your life at 75. No, just joking.
Yeah. No, that's true. Because think about it. When you
Hey,
have the
facts.
money, when you have the health, to enjoy life the way you want to enjoy, you don't have the money. When you get the money, your health can eventually start failing. So that's just the cycle of life, man. But I think
Facts.
we ought to all hit Uncle Fred Jackson up because he got all the money. The
Got all the
statistics show
money.
that he got
Just
all the money.
sitting somewhere.
Got the book. Yeah, 100%. Got his book.
Oh man,
Yeah,
he need cash and
gentlemen,
cash and 2 co-signers to go see him.
man. 100%. Look, gentlemen, it's definitely been a true pleasure, man. I thank you all for popping up here and hanging with me on the Gentleman's Journal. I hope we did help some people out there with their questions. I know you did. I mean, I feel better. It's a lot of things I still need to do with myself. You know, I got those credit cards I need to knock down. I'm proud to say, you know, when you got a little bit over 8 something in your, when you see 8 in front of your credit score, you're like, okay, we're
Yes,
doing
like,
pretty
yeah,
good. We're doing
doing
pretty
pretty
good.
good.
Doing
Yeah,
something.
But at the same time, that's like a little
Yeah.
competition me and my wife have, or my wife and
yeah.
myself have now,
Credit
to
score.
who has the best credit score, and that's a good
Yeah.
thing. But with
Great
all
thing.
that being said, we just want to say thank you for being up here on the panel. We always have a good time with you. I'm asking you to stay back. For those who are watching, we say thank you for tuning in and hanging out with us today. Look forward to more greater shows and different topics, because we're going to have real talk with real people about real life, and this is what it's all about. So until next time, we ask you to stay sharp. We'll talk to you later. Peace. And gentlemen, I'll see you in the back. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah.